All right, so we have a section of lights on the tree that are not working. And the last video I did, I went through some issues with the lights outside and kind of troubleshot the strand and try to figure out how it worked and all the different pieces of it. So I'm going to apply what I learned from there to troubleshoot this. And what we know is this light strand is out. I'm going to track it back here. Track it back to, okay, so based on what we learned before, this strand is split into two different circuits. And that's why there's 3 wires here, 3 wires there. That's the positive and negative that travel all the way through. And it splits off for the 2 separate circuits. So we know that half of the lights are working, the other half are not. So what that tells us, based on what we learned last time, is cannot be the fuses. Here's why it can't be the fuses. Because this part is working. And if it was the fuses at the very beginning of the strand, nothing would work after it. So not only would these lights not work, but nothing plugged into it on the back side would work. So we know based on what we learned, not the fuses. Okay, so it's not the fuses. What I'm going to do first is just kind of look for obvious things. I'm going to track this through, see if there's a broken bulb. And I do not see a broken bulb. Also looking, oh, this is plugged into here, which goes up to the angel, which works. Again, we know it's not a fuse that way. All right, so not obvious. Don't see any frays in the wire, things like that. And on a tree, it's usually not going to be something like that. Most likely it's a burnt out bulb. But how do we, if it's on a tree, you know, and we don't have it on our nice table, it's kind of hard to see. Well, I can use a light like this, but man, that's even hard to see because it just kind of has the reflection, reflects off of the lens. So what we're looking for is this bulb out or not? So here's a trick, you know, and if you look at it this way, it's just really bright. So what I have here is just a piece of paper. What I'm going to do is diffuse this light. What that means is, see how bright that is there? I'm sorry, shining in your eyes. If you do this, it diffuses the light, spreads it out. As you come closer, you can see the 3, well, not the 3, but the multiple LED bulbs. But if I bring it back like this, it diffuses it, makes it easier to look at, obviously, but also gives you the ability to see what's going on with no reflection. So there's now no reflection in the bulb, and the light spread out, and I can look in there and I can see that there's a filament. I'm not sure if it picks it up on camera, but I can see it. And I'm just going to go through each of these bulbs on the tree and do that. I see that little right there. You can see the little filament in there, tiny. But we're just looking for that. Ooh, this one has some burn in it. I do see the filament, but there's something definitely going on with this bulb. So what I'm going to do here is take this out, because it definitely doesn't look right. Yeah, so there are multiple bulbs here that look to be burning out. Oh, there's another one. See that black around there? So I'm not sure what's going on with this strand, but I don't like it. So what I'm going to do, I happen to have a spare strand. Yeah, look at that. Something's definitely going on with the strand of lights, and there are lots of bulbs. Oh, yeah, okay, so definitely something goofy happened. Not sure what it is. but multiple parts are brown. And what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take one of the ones that look burnt, put it in another strand, because okay, so that one definitely doesn't work. Put this one in. That one's not working either. So the ones that are semi-burnt, not working, and we've seen now, I don't know, 5, 6 of them that look like that are definitely, something happened to the strand to cause issues with multiple bulbs. So this is definitely not worth fixing. I don't have enough bulbs I'd have to replace so many bulbs. Don't have those, for one. Another thing is, because I'm seeing that throughout the strand, I don't like having that strand on the tree. Something definitely went wrong with that. Happen to have a spare set, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a spare set on it. But I wanted to show troubleshooting it on the something that's already on the tree. Also that trick with the paper to diffuse the light and make it easier to see what's going on with the bulbs. I think that was a good thing to show. And now that I know that there are multiple issues, I'm just going to replace this strand and throw this one away. I'm not going to try to save it because it looks like there's too many issues. All right, so as I tracked this back, it goes in and out, and it's really kind of behind a bunch of ornaments and all that kind of stuff, and I do not want to disassemble the tree to get those lights out. Half the strand, the other side of the circuit's working, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put these lights in the same spot that those were, just kind of on top, so I don't have to undo anything there. And then the other thing I'm going to do is there's the angels plugged into the back of this strand, and because the strand is doing a little bit of goofiness, I'm not sure what's going on with that other circuit. I don't want to have anything plugged into the back of this one, so if the fuses go, we lose that string of lights, which is basically a half a string of lights right now. And with these on the tree and bypassing plugging it into this, we'll still be good. And I also, what I did is I marked on this end that this is bad, and I marked over here that this is bad. So when we take this off of the tree, we don't just put it in the box for next year. We'll just get rid of this set of lights. What I'll probably do, if I'm thinking about it when we take this all down, is grab all the lights, a bunch of the bulbs that are working on the other half, and use those, put those in a bag and have those for later, because that side of it's working, so I'll be able to reuse that part of it and go from there. So this is the other plug-in. So I'm going to go ahead and string these. You don't need to necessarily see that, so I'm going to string these, get this plugged in, and then I'll show you that after. All right, so we have the lights working, but here's the thing. Was this a major problem for us? No, not at all. Could just like half of a strand of lights weren't working. It was a little bit dark there, but not a big deal. None of this is a big deal really right now. It's just decorations, and the importance of Christmas is not this. But point is, wanted to do this video to show how to directly apply the knowledge that we got from the last video, from troubleshooting the last time. And I hope I mentioned in that video that I was walking through all that stuff so I had a better understanding to be able to fix any future problems. It wasn't just about replacing the lights or getting the lights working. It was about understanding how they work so that I could apply it. So this is a prime example. Light strand out. I knew it wasn't the fuses because half of the light strand was working and what was plugged into the other end was working. So was able to isolate that right away. Not the fuses. Answered that question. Half the light strand is working, so that circuit's good. The other half is not, which means that circuit was not working. And what could cause that circuit not to work? Some disconnect in the circuit itself, which is through the light bulbs, or some other disconnect in the wiring. Usually it's the bulbs with these, unless you're really banging stuff around or whatever. So usually it's the bulb is not, the filament in the bulb is burnt out. It's not completing that circuit. So then we started looking at the different bulbs. Also showed you the trick to look at a bulb to see the filament. Very hard to see that usually. So there was a trick there to do that, and walk through it and realize that multiple ones were burnt out, which made it not worth fixing that half, because you'd have to replace all the bulbs, and there could be something going on, I should say, in the wiring or something along those lines that caused that issue. So decided to abandon that, but only because I knew what it actually was, and I was able to troubleshoot that and not just pull the strand out. Now, I was hoping that maybe 1 or 2 bulbs were burnt out. I could replace those and be good. But when I started seeing the burn marks in the different bulbs, no, didn't like that. Not going to replace every bulb, and also could pretty much think it tells me something else is going on in that circuit, or did at one point. So going to just abandon that for $2.75 strand, no problem. And then, of course, the workaround was throwing another strand here on the bulbs, bypassing the bad strand for the Angel and everything that goes past this, so that we're not relying on that strand. And if the fuses go on that strand, or that strand goes bad, there's nothing behind it. We just lose that strand and we're good. So multiple things, simple things, but things that build upon the knowledge that we got from the last video of troubleshooting the outside lights and walking through all that. So now that's something we know, and can use that moving forward with circuits or any of that stuff. So that knowledge can be applied in many places. I also wanted you to see how this all connects. I know this has just been Christmas lights, but lighting in general, same concepts. Circuits in general, same concepts. There's a lot of connectedness if you're willing to look and troubleshoot, take the time to troubleshoot and figure out how things work. That can be applied to so many other things that you're going to run into. A lot of commonalities. So anyway, thanks for watching.